Welcome to another Destiny 2 build guide. Today we're going to be going over a Warlock build that is going to help you carry your team through Legend Onslaught. If you want to come out on top with the most kills, the most orbs created, and the highest score, this build will carry you to victory. You're going to be able to immobilize all enemies, lock down zones, while having a very high uptime on all of your abilities and your super. So Guardians, let's get into this.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video, come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
For this build, we are going to be on the Warlock and we're going to be utilizing the Broodweaver subclass. And today's pick for the exotic is going to be the Nezarec Sin, which is going to help us synergize the strand and the void element to do a ton of ad clear and help us keep our abilities up. The Nezarec Sin states that void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rate. So every time you get a void kill, you're going to get abyssal extractors for 2.5 seconds. And it's going to max out at 20 seconds. And while the abyssal extractor perk is active, you get a 300% additional base grenade and melee regeneration rate and a 200% additional base class and super regeneration. So just with this exotic alone, you're going to have a very high uptime on all of your abilities and your super. And the way we're going to ensure that we keep getting void kills is by using the exotic pulse rifle Graviton Lance. The Graviton Lance exotic states that the second shot of a burst rips a hole through space-time, doing high damage in recoil with no fall off, and the cosmology trait states that kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. So essentially getting one kill in the middle of a group of ads will just spawn seekers, and if those seekers kill the ad, that ad will then chain void seekers and just keep chaining, and that will keep our exotic abyssal extractor perk going. Now for the Broodweaver, we've got the Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Arcane Needle, which is going to help us unravel the enemies. Unraveling an enemy is going to make them take additional damage, and unraveled targets will also unwind into a tangle. And then for our grenade, we're taking the Shackle Grenade. We're not really going to be using this as a normal grenade and throwing it. We're actually going to be consuming it with this aspect over here, Mind Spun Invocation. Your Grapple, Shackle Grenade, and Threadling grenades have enhanced functionality. You hold to consume your Shackle Grenade and activate Weaver's Trance, and then every final blow you get creates a suspending detonation. This is going to help us completely lock down lanes, lock down zones, and make the enemies very easy to kill. Then we also have the Wanderer aspect. Tangles you throw attach to targets and detonate into a suspending burst. Destroying a tangle creates a suspending burst after a short delay. So as you can see, both these aspects have to do with suspending, and in Legend Onslaught you are being overwhelmed with tons and tons of ads, and having both of these aspects is really going to help you lock down zones, is really going to push back the enemies, hold them in place, and it's going to keep them away from that ADU battery. For our fragments, we're taking Thread of Evolution. Threadlings will travel farther and deal additional damage. It also gives us a +10 to our intellect. And the way we're creating Threadlings is with the artifact perk Horde Shuttle. Damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a Threadling. Now since we have the Arcane Needle melee, we are going to be able to unravel many enemies, thus creating many Threadlings. And then of course we're also pairing another artifact perk with this build called Unraveling Orbs. Picking up an Orb of Power grants strand weapons unraveling rounds. These two artifact perks are a must-have for this build. For our next fragment, we have Thread of Wisdom. Defeating suspended targets creates an Orb of Power. This is also just going to feed into our super regen on top of our exotic helmet, giving us that 200% increase to super recharge rate. Then we have Thread of Warning. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. This grants a 45% damage resist for 10 seconds. One of the best damage resist abilities in the game. And in Legend Onslaught, when you get into those later waves, everything is hitting you really hard. So Thread of Warding is a must-have. Then moving on from there, we have Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. Moving on to the mods on my helmet, we've got Harmonic Siphon. to create orbs with my strand weapon and then a void siphon because we're using the graviton lance, and I'm also using a heavy machine gun that is void. And then we have ashes to assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Now we're not actually getting kills with our grenade by throwing it, but a little birdie told me when we consume our grenade, get kills and suspend the enemies, those suspended enemies actually count as grenade kills. And in this footage right here, as you can see, I do get a decent amount of super energy every time I kill a suspended target. So I do believe that it is working, which is some really nice synergy. Then on the gloves, we have firepower. Your grenade final blows create orbs of power. So like I just said, since all of these suspended enemies count as grenade kills, you'll actually drop one orb from firepower. You'll be getting another orb to drop from the void siphon weapon kill, and you'll be getting an orb from defeating suspended targets, creating an orb of power. So on one kill, you can get 3 orbs of power to drop from one enemy, which is pretty awesome. Then we're also taking momentum transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. Once again, this is going to stack on top of Nezarec Sin. Then we have bolstering detonation, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade, which once again stacks with Nezarec Sin. On the chest, take whatever reserve mod you need for your weapon. So I'm going to be taking void reserves, and then I've got a concussive dampener and a void resist. Each week the modifiers change for Onslaught, so you can just change up whatever element you need to for the resist mods. Then on the boots, we've got void weapon surge. Now if you want to go for more damage, you can actually stack 3 void weapon surges. But since this is Legend Onslaught, we're going to be taking better already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. And we also got recuperation, replenishes health each time you pick up an orb. And we're going to be creating a lot of orbs. So these 2 mods are just continually going to be giving us health back to help keep us alive. Then for the class item, I've got time dilation, so our armor charge can last a bit longer, so I have a little bit more uptime on our void surges. We've got Reaper. Shortly after using my class ability, the next weapon final blow is going to spawn an orb. We've got Bomber, which is going to reduce our grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Then for my other weapons, I'm using the Michael's Reverence, and the reason I'm using this is because it is a strand weapon, and also because on the artifact I have piercing sidearms unlocked, and there are anti-barrier champions in Legend Onslaught, so this helps me take them out. And the Unraveling Orbs artifact perk helps me get my sidearm to get unraveling rounds. On top of Horde Shuttle will also help me generate threadlings with my sidearm. And then for my heavy weapon, I'm using the Commemoration. Got it crafted with Reconstruction and Killing Tally. This is a very, very good power weapon to use. So I've got my Graviton and my Commemoration that'll help me activate the Nezarec Sin exotic perk. And here's a look at the mod customization screen in case you guys wanted to take a screenshot. And basically the whole gameplay loop of this is you just want to keep on consuming your shackle grenade every single time you get it, and then just go to town with your graviton lance or your Commemoration, and everything you kill will become suspended. You can switch over to the sidearm once you pick up an orb. You can start unraveling them with your sidearm. You can start unraveling them with just your regular melee, which will be up at all times pretty much. And when it comes to champions, like I said, the sidearm will take care of the barrier. The graviton lance will take care of the overload champions. And then when your back is up against the wall getting pushed by the unstoppables, you can actually just throw your shackle grenade instead of consuming it, because the shackle grenade will suspend champions. So Guardians, that's pretty much going to do it for the build. I've been using this the past couple of days and I've been having a blast with it. I will admit, when I get to those later rounds and we go into the boss room, I'll just switch over to my Warlock just to make sure that we don't wipe in the boss room. But then as soon as the boss fight is done, I immediately switch back to this, because this is very, very good at ad clear. And if you wanted to stay on this subclass the whole time, I would just switch your heavy from a machine gun probably to like a void rocket launcher, and that will help you out in the boss room a lot. So Guardians, if you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Leave a like if you enjoyed the content. Follow me over on Twitch for the live streams, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.